Hi, Cam here from Infinitum. Today we're here to talk about updating your motor firmware using the motor control software. The reason you might want to do this is the factory or Infinitum has added a feature, and the way to enable it is to update the motor firmware. Or they fixed a bug. There's been some error found in the operational firmware and you need to update it to correct this bug. Before we do that, a couple of prerequisites. It's always best to use the latest version of the motor control software, and the version is found in the upper left-hand corner you can see on the screen. Mine is 2.76, which is the latest version. If you don't have that version, go to the Infinitum support website and update to the latest version of the motor control software. You should always uninstall your old version first, though, before you install the new one. You also need an Ethernet cable and a static IP address from your PC to your motor. And the operational method to talk to it via the motor control software should be TCP. There's two choices, TCP or serial. But to do the update, you always have to be in TCP mode. So let's go ahead and connect to the motor and check the version of the firmware to make sure we really need to do this. So the way you do that, you connect to the motor. You click the motor information tab in the lower left-hand corner, and you can see all the versions of the software are displayed. The TIVA, which is the processor in the communication interface module, is 2.9. And the latest version is 2.10. We want to update that from 2.9 to 2.10. Before we do this, though, we need to actually download the software and put it locally on our computer. And the way you do that is click on the Infinitum support website. In the upper right-hand corner is the software and firmware box. You click on this. You go to the SIM inverter firmware updating file. You click on this and you can see the download files. There's actually available in binary format, the SIM 2.10 firmware. There's also kernel and inverter firmware. We're not going to update those today. But I'm going to click the 2.10 firmware file and let that download to the download section of my PC. If you get blocked and you can't download binary files, there's other methods on the screen. You can see links to the files. There's also a procedure of how to actually do this whole process. It's called the Updating Inverter SIM Firmware Procedure. And I recommend downloading this because you get to use the hyperlinks. A lot of the download files are available via hyperlinks in this download version. But we've downloaded the file. Before we do anything else, though, we have to do a minor change to actually enable the TFTP server on the PC to connect to the motor. And this is interfering with various network adapters. The way to fix that is to open up the device manager. You go to the network adapters and you disable the Wi-Fi. We're actually going to disable and cut ourselves off from the internet. And the way to do that on mine, the Ethernet connection from my laptop to the motor is this top one, so I don't want to disable that, but I do want to disable this Wi-Fi connection. So you right-click this, disable device, and you say yes. That will break the connection to the internet and facilitate the correct operation of the TFTP server from the PC or laptop to the motor. When you get finished, though, when you finish this download process, you need to go back to the device manager and re-enable this to make sure you reestablish your internet connection after you've completed the download process. So let's go back to the motor control software. We're going to go ahead and complete the download. So we go to the main screen again. You click the firmware update section. We're going to update the TIVA code. That's this box in the lower left corner up here. We need to go, and I've actually saved my software. It's in the download section. If you click on downloads, you can see the version is here, but I also saved it on my PC into a file called software firmware. So I want to enable the correct file. As we mentioned, it was 2.10. So you select that, you select open, and it puts that file in the download location. Now we need to connect to the motor. So right beside upload, we hit the connect button. And right now it's not connected, but when I hit the connect button, it establishes a connection to the motor. This goes green, which means it's ready for the upload. And now I need to hit this blue upload button to move the software from the PC or your laptop into the motor. I'm going to click this. It's going to say yes. And you can see in the status box, a lot of things start happening here. It doesn't take long. It's about a 15-second process. When it's complete, there's a closing WinSock and a complete message, which means the file has been uploaded into your motor successfully. And the way to confirm that is to go back to the main screen and you hit connect, which reestablishes standard connection from the motor control software to the motor, we're going to go back and check the version of the software again. So you go to the motor information tab. You can see I clicked on motor information. The TIVA version, which is the version of the SIM processor, has now been updated to 2.10. So previously it was 2.9, and we've updated it to 2.10 via the firmware update process. I hope this helps. If you have more questions, as usual, drop us a note or a line at support@goinfinitum.com. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.